Updike God listens to me. He doesn't even know I exist. I wonder if Dan prayed.
He sang a nice hymn, so he did, Harper said. He took the pickaxe and drove it deep into the ground. We'll soon have this done, he said, loosening the hard-packed soil with a heave.
I don't want the foxes digging him up.
We'll put rocks on top of him. Sharpe had made a wooden cross from the shattered backboards of an artillery wagon. He'd used a red-hot bayonet to burn Dan Hagman's name into the crosspiece, then added, Rifleman. He arched his back, trying to work the pain from his muscles, and stared across the shallow valley where the battle had been fought. There were corpses everywhere, men and horses, while the crops were flattened and scorched by artillery fire.
God, that stinks, Sharpe said, nodding down the slope to where the fiercer fire was being fed with timber cut from the wood beyond Hougoumont.
Men were also carrying French corpses to the fire and throwing them onto the flames. The British dead were being buried, but the enemy would burn their way into eternity. Sharpe dropped the wooden cross and picked up the spade. Officer coming, Harper said in warning. Sharpe turned to see a cavalry officer coming towards them.
Not one of ours,
he said dismissively, turning away to scrape at the soil Harper had loosened. The approaching officer had sky-blue trousers and a dark blue tunic crossed with a golden sash. To Sharpe's eyes, the uniform looked unnaturally clean. The men who'd fought on this ridge were filthy, their uniforms stained with mud, darkened by blood, and scorched by powder burns, but the young cavalry officer appeared elegant and polished. The bogger's talking to Sergeant Huckfield, Harper said, eyeing the horseman, who'd stopped beside a group of redcoats who were cleaning muskets gathered from the battlefield. One of the redcoats gestured towards Sharpe, who swore under his breath, making Pat Harper laugh. Trouble will find you, he said. The elegantly uniformed officer turned his horse and spurred towards Sharpe and Harper. He saw what they were doing and grimaced. I'm told you men know where I can find Lieutenant Colonel Sharpe, he said. He had a crisp voice, which, like his well-groomed horse and expensive uniform, spoke of money. You find him, Your Honour, Harper said, exaggerating his Irish accent. You? The officer stared at Harper with disbelief.
I'm Colonel Sharpe,
Sharpe said. If the cavalry officer had found the thought of Harper as a colonel unbelievable, he seemed to find Sharpe even more preposterous. That could have been because Sharpe had his back turned, and that back was crossed with the scars of a flogging. Sharpe tipped back his straw hat as he faced the newcomer.
And you are?
Captain Burrell, sir. I'm on the Duke's staff.
Lord Burrell?
The scorn in Sharpe's voice was unmistakable. A younger son, so no, sir.
What can I do for you, Burrell?
The Duke wants to see you, sir.
He's still in Waterloo?
In Brussels, sir. We rode there this morning.
I'll finish here first, Sharpe said,
and drove the spade into the earth.
And I need to shave.
He had not shaved in 4 days, and the stubble was dark on his cheeks. The Duke says it's important, Burrell said nervously. He insisted on the utmost haste, sir. Sharpe straightened.
You see that dead man, Captain?
Of course, sir.
He was a damn fine soldier and a good friend. That man marched with me from Portugal to France, then came here, where some bastard voltigeur killed him. I owe him a grave, and I pay my debts. If you're in such a hurry, then you can climb off that bloody horse and help us.
I'll wait, sir, Burrell said uncertainly. It took another hour to deepen the grave sufficiently, but then Dan Hagman was laid in the earth, and Sharpe put his own rifle at the side of the corpse and hooked one of the dead man's fingers through the trigger guard. He touched Hagman's powder-scarred cheek. If you go to the wrong place...